When I saw him with her, moving in perfect sync, I clenched the ultrasound picture hidden in my pocket, my fingers pressing into the delicate paper. His child was growing inside me, a secret he had no idea existed. 5 years later, fate played its cruelest trick, our daughter. His piercing blue eyes, my dimpled smile, stood in the center of my art gallery, unknowingly crossing paths with the father she had never met. Across the room, James's champagne glass slipped from his fingers, shattering against the marble floor. The moment recognition dawned in his eyes, I watched his carefully curated world crumble, just as mine had years ago. I had been frozen in the doorway of my gallery that day, 5 years earlier, clutching the ultrasound photo like a lifeline. Through the large front window, I saw James across the street, carrying boxes into his new penthouse. He was laughing as Emma, the woman he had sworn was just a colleague 3 months ago, directed him where to place them. My phone buzzed, a reminder about tomorrow's gallery opening. The irony wasn't lost on me. My biggest career milestone coincided with watching my ex move in with his new love. I pressed a hand to my still flat stomach, wondering how I had ended up here. A voice broke through my daze. Olivia. I turned to find Sarah, my best friend, standing there, a box of her famous chocolate revenge cookies in hand, as the owner of the bakery next door. She had appointed herself my personal chef ever since I found out I was pregnant. Stop torturing yourself and eat one of these instead, she ordered, pulling me inside. I let her, grateful for the distraction. These cookies are going to make me gain more than just baby weight, I teased, already reaching for one. And you are not torturing yourself, Sarah scoffed. Honey, you're standing there staring at your ex like you're strategically observing the competition, I swallowed a bite and lifted my chin. Maybe I am observing the competition. Sarah snorted. Competition? Please, that woman wouldn't know a Monet from a kindergarten finger painting. You're the one who turned this gallery from a failing business into the most talked about art space in the city. She wasn't wrong. 3 years ago, I had taken a massive risk, investing everything into a struggling gallery. Now, it was set to host its biggest exhibition yet, featuring renowned artists who had specifically chosen my space. Unfortunately, the same exhibition was also partially sponsored by James's investment firm, a deal signed before our breakup. Did you tell him? Sarah asked softly. I knew she meant the baby. When, exactly? I kept my tone light, carefully arranging a sculpture, between him announcing he'd met someone special and then ghosting me for 2 weeks. Or maybe during that lovely conversation where he suggested we keep things strictly professional for the sake of the business deal. The cookie in my hand crumbled. Just like all my plans had, James and I had met at a charity auction 2 years ago, caught in a bidding war over the same painting. He had won the piece, but then asked me to dinner, claiming he needed an art expert to explain why he had spent so much money. That dinner led to another, then another, until we were inseparable. Remember how he used to bring you coffee every morning? I mused. He'd always complain about the paint fumes, but he'd still sit and watch me work. Sarah rolled her eyes. Oh, stop romanticizing the jerk. He didn't even notice when you started throwing up every morning. Because I hid it well, I shot back automatically, then caught myself, and because by then, he had already been distant, always working late with Emma on their big project, The gallery door chimed. I wiped my eyes quickly as my assistant, Marcus, rushed inside, looking pale. Miss Reynolds, we have a situation, he announced. I straightened, instantly shifting into gallery owner mode. What happened? The centerpiece for tomorrow's exhibition is stuck in customs. I frowned. That's impossible. I handled the paperwork myself. Apparently, there's a problem with the insurance documentation, Marcus explained, glancing uneasily at his tablet. They need additional signatures from the exhibition's main sponsor. My stomach dropped. James, Sarah cursed under her breath, stringing together an impressively creative combination of words that made Marcus blush. Can't we get someone else to sign? She asked. I shook my head, already grabbing my coat. It has to be him. The sponsorship agreement is in his name. I patted my pocket, making sure the ultrasound picture was still safely tucked away. I'll handle it. Sarah caught my arm. Maybe this is a sign. Liv, tell him about the baby. No, I squared my shoulders. This gallery is my dream. I won't let anything, not James, not this pregnancy, jeopardize tomorrow's opening. I'll get the signature and maintain a professional relationship. That's all. Sarah folded her arms. And when you start showing, I forced a smirk. When his child starts kicking soccer balls at your cookie display, I'll figure it out. Liv. He made his choice, Sarah. My voice was firm, but my throat tightened. He chose his perfect new life, his perfect Emma. They're probably planning their perfect future right now. As if on cue, James's deep laugh floated through the window, followed by Emma's voice calling him honey. I refused to look. He has no right to this baby, I whispered, more to convince myself than Sarah. Tomorrow's exhibition will be a success, and then, I'll take some time off, maybe visit my sister in Paris until after. Sarah looked like she wanted to argue, but Marcus cleared his throat. Miss Reynolds, the customs office closes in an hour. I nodded, inhaling sharply. Time to face James, grabbing my designer handbag, the last birthday gift he had given me. I headed toward the door. I'll be back soon. I called over my shoulder. Just need to get a simple signature from my X while hiding the fact that I'm carrying his child. Piece of cake. Right, speaking of cake, Sarah called after me. I'm stress baking your favorite lemon tart. Don't make any life-changing decisions without eating some first. I waved without turning around, my heels clicking against the pavement as I crossed the street. Each step brought me closer to James's new world. Each step carried me further from the life I had once imagined for us. The ultrasound picture felt heavier in my pocket with every stride. Tomorrow, I would stand in front of the city's elite, smiling, charming potential buyers. Pretending my heart wasn't breaking, because one thing was certain. James Walker had no idea what was coming next. I was set to witness James schmoozing with sponsors, likely with Emma by his side, while I protected our baby, my baby, from ever feeling as neglected as I did at this moment. The doorman, recognizing me from previous visits, waved me through without a call ahead. As the elevator ascended to the penthouse, I practiced my professional smile. I could handle this. I was Olivia Reynolds, a gallery owner and soon-to-be single mother. I didn't need James's picturesque new life. I just needed his signature. 5 years zoomed by, filled with gallery openings, preschool applications, and late-night painting sessions with my daughter, Luna. She had inherited my passion for art and James's headstrong nature, a blend that both delighted and concerned me. "Mommy, why doesn't my sky look like yours?" Luna asked one Sunday morning, her brow furrowed in frustration, a smear of paint across her cheek. We were in our home studio, sunlight streaming through the windows. "Because you're painting your own sky, sweetie," I explained as I helped her clean her brush. "Art isn't about imitation, it's about expressing how you see the world." Her dark curls, so like James's, bounced as she nodded, her eyes, also his, thankfully minus his knack for seeing through my facades, sparkling with renewed enthusiasm. The gallery thrived beyond my expectations, becoming a haven for emerging artists. I had established a reputation for discovering new talent, though rumors persisted that James's initial investment had laid the groundwork. Those whispers intensified when his firm, Reynolds and Shaw Investments, started acquiring major art collections. Sarah, holding her weekly delivery of fresh pastries, appeared in the doorway. "There's my favorite artist, and look who she brought along." She winked at Luna, who rushed to hug her honorary aunt, Aunt Sarah. "Can you teach me how to make rainbow macarons? I want to surprise Mommy for her birthday." "Of course, pumpkin. But first, your mom needs to hear some news." Sarah's tone turned serious. "Emma Shaw is back in town," she revealed. Causing my brush to clatter to the floor, Emma had vanished 3 years ago following the investment scandal that had nearly toppled James's company. A scandal that had exposed the dark underbelly of their biggest project, which they had embarked on during our relationship. "Luna, sweetie, why don't you go wash up? Those macarons won't bake themselves." I waited for her to skip away before turning back to Sarah. How do you know? She's opening a competing gallery 2 blocks from yours. Sarah explained. And guess who's the primary investor? James wouldn't, I said automatically, then scoffed bitterly. Actually, he would. He's never seen through her schemes. Emma had masterminded a complex fraud, using James's reputation to lure investors while funneling funds into offshore accounts. When the scheme unraveled, James had nearly lost everything. I had watched from afar, silently relieved that Luna was too young to grasp why her father's name dominated the headlines. There's more. Sarah hesitated. The new gallery's opening exhibition, it's featuring all the artists who were supposed to be at your fall lineup. My heart sank. I had spent months nurturing relationships with those artists, planning a show that would solidify my gallery's international status. She's trying to destroy everything I've built. Maybe it's time to tell James about Luna, Sarah suggested. Not for the first time. He's changed since the scandal. Heard he fired his entire board and rebuilt the company from scratch. I shook my head. He lost the right to know when he chose Emma over us. Besides, Luna's happy. She doesn't ask about him anymore. But that wasn't entirely true. Just last week, during career day at school, Luna had drawn a picture of her dream family, including a shadowy father figure holding a briefcase. The teacher had called, concerned about Luna's imagined absent parent. My phone buzzed. An email from the prestigious Kingston Arts Scholarship Committee. They had selected Luna's portfolio for final consideration, with the interview set at their primary sponsor's office, Reynolds and Shaw Investments. No, I whispered, showing Sarah the email. This can't be happening. It's the biggest children's art scholarship in the country, she pointed out. Luna's been talking about it for months. At James's company, he'll see her and know. She looks just like him at that age. I've seen the photos. Sarah squeezed my hand. Maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing. James isn't the same man who hurt you. The scandal changed him. Changed him how? By proving I was right about Emma all along. I paced the studio. You didn't see the files I found that night, Sarah. The night before he moved in with her. Contracts with my father's company name forged. Investment proposals using my gallery as collateral. They planned to use me from the start, but they didn't succeed. Sarah reminded me, your father's lawyers caught the forgeries. James lost everything anyway, just not because of you. Luna's laughter floated down from the kitchen, followed by the clatter of baking pans. My daughter, so talented and deserving of every opportunity. Even if it meant confronting the past I had carefully buried, I'll write to the committee, I decided. Request an alternate interview location and risk Luna losing this chance she worked so hard on. Sarah crossed her arms. Stop punishing her for James's mistakes. I'm protecting her. No, you're protecting yourself. Sarah's voice softened. Luna deserves to shine on her own merit, without our complicated history getting in the way. Besides, what are the chances James would even be there? He probably delegates these things now. I looked at Luna's painting. Her unique vision of the sky full of swirling colors and possibilities I'd never imagined. She deserved every chance to pursue her dreams, even if it meant risking everything I'd built to protect her. Fine, I conceded, but I'm going with her to the interview, and if James is there, you'll handle it gracefully. Like the successful businesswoman you are, Sarah grinned. Now let's go teach your daughter the secret to perfect macarons. Though between us, she already bakes better than you. I followed her upstairs, trying to ignore the familiar ache in my chest. Tomorrow, I'd call my lawyer and update our contingency plans. I'd prepare Luna for the most significant interview of her young life, and I'd pray that 5 years had been long enough for James to have forgotten my face in the morning light. As we painted side by side, but first, I had some old wounds to revisit at Reynolds and Shaw Investments. The lobby gleamed with marble and success. A stark contrast to the chaos I remembered from the scandal years ago. Luna clutched her portfolio, her excitement palpable as she bounced on her toes. I'd spent hours helping her select her best pieces, all the while suppressing the panic about where this path might lead us. Miss Reynolds, a young assistant, approached us. The committee is ready for Luna. Mr. Reynolds has specifically requested to sit in on the scholarship interviews today. My heart skipped a beat. Sarah's voice echoed in my head. What are the chances? Apparently pretty high, when the universe has a sick sense of humor. Mommy, my hands are shaking, Luna whispered. What if they don't like my art? I knelt before her, straightening her little blazer, a miniature version of my own. They'll love your art because it's honest and unique, just like you. Remember what we always say about art, it's not about being perfect, she recited, it's about being true. That's my girl, I hugged her, breathing in the familiar scent of strawberry shampoo and oil paints. I'll be right here waiting. The assistant led Luna away, her dark curls bouncing with each step. I sank into a lobby chair, fighting the urge to grab her and run. 5 years of careful planning, of building a life where Luna could thrive without the shadow of her father's choices, all potentially undone by a scholarship interview. Olivia, I closed my eyes. That voice. Of course he'd come to the lobby now, of all moments. James, I stood, summoning my gallery owner persona. What a surprise. He looked different, older, with silver threading his dark hair and new lines around his eyes. The perfectly tailored suit remained, but gone was the arrogant ease I remembered. He carried himself like a man who'd learned hard lessons. You look, he trailed off, studying my face. What are you doing here? My daughter is interviewing for the Kingston Scholarship. I kept my voice neutral, professional. She's quite talented. Your daughter? Something flicked in his eyes. I didn't know you had. Miss Reynolds, the assistant reappeared, looking flustered. There's been a slight issue. Luna is asking for you. She's refusing to show her portfolio unless you're there. James frowned. Luna, my daughter, I said quickly, too quickly. She gets nervous about her art. I'll come too. James decided, as committee head, I should. No, the word exploded from me. Both James and the assistant stayed. I mean, that won't be necessary. I'm sure you're very busy. But he was already walking toward the conference room, his long strides eating up the distance. I hurried after him, praying for a miracle. A fire alarm, anything to prevent what was about to happen. The conference room door opened. Luna sat at the massive table, her portfolio clutched to her chest. Looking impossibly small among the suited executives, she brightened when she saw me, then turned curious eyes to James. I saw the exact moment he realized. His face drained of color, his hand gripping the door frame. Luna's eyes, his eyes, looked between us, confusion clouding her features. Mommy, can I show my paintings now? Of course, sweetie. I forced my voice to stay steady. These nice people want to see your vision of the world. Luna beamed, opening her portfolio with practiced care. The committee members leaned forward, making appreciative noises at each piece, but James stood frozen, staring at Luna like a man seeing a ghost. She pulled out her centerpiece, the one we'd worked on for weeks. This is my family tree, but with real trees. See, each branch shows a different feeling. The twisted one is for when Mommy burns dinner, and this golden one is for when Aunt Sarah brings surprise cookies, and this dark branch, one committee member pointed. Luna's voice dropped to a whisper, that's the wandering branch, for when I wonder about my dad. The room fell silent. James made a choked sound. It's a remarkable piece. I cut in. Luna has a unique way of processing emotions through art, something she developed entirely on her own. Not entirely, James said hoarsely. My mother was an artist. She always said art was how we speak when words fail. Luna's eyes lit up. Really, Mommy? He knows about art too. Luna, why don't you show the committee your ocean series? I suggested desperately. The one inspired by our beach trip. She nodded eagerly, pulling out more paintings, each one revealing another piece of our life, another memory James had missed. His hands clenched at his sides as Luna explained her work. Her mannerisms so like his, it hurt to watch. 5 years, he whispered, low enough that only I heard. She's 5 years old. Mr. Reynolds, a committee member called. Your thoughts on Luna's technical skills? James straightened, professionalism sliding back into place, but his voice shook slightly as he praised Luna's use of color and perspective. She preened under his attention, unaware of the earthquake happening in her father's world. Thank you, Luna, the committee chair finally said. We'll be in touch about the scholarship soon. Luna packed up her portfolio, chattering excitedly about calling Aunt Sarah with the news. James watched her every move, drinking in details like a man dying of thirst. Olivia, His voice stopped us at the door. We need to talk. No, we don't. I took Luna's hand. The interview's over. Thank you for your time, Mommy. Luna tugged my sleeve. Can we get ice cream to celebrate? Of course, sweetie. I know a great ice cream place. James interrupted. Ed, right around the corner. My treat. Luna bounced on her toes. Can we, Mommy? Please. I looked at her hopeful face, then at James's determined one. 5 years of protection, of careful half-truths and redirected questions, crumbling because my daughter wanted ice cream with a stranger who had her eyes. One ice cream. James's expression softened, relief and perhaps something else, hope, or maybe regret, flashing across his face. Luna skipped ahead with the assistant, leaving us to trail behind in awkward silence. She's extraordinary. James finally broke the silence. Yes, she is, I replied, squaring my shoulders. And she's been extraordinary without you for 5 years. Don't think one scholarship interview changes that, doesn't it? He stopped, turning to face me. She's my daughter, Olivia, my daughter who thinks about me enough to include me in her art. Are you really going to continue pretending this won't change everything for us? Ahead, Luna waited by the elevator, clutching her portfolio like a shield, much like I had clutched my ultrasound picture 5 years ago, trying to safeguard the future it represented. One ice cream, I stated firmly. That's all you get today. But we both knew it wasn't true. The moment Luna had unveiled that family tree painting, everything had already shifted. The ice cream parlor felt too cramped for the enormity of secrets dissolving between us. Luna perched on her stool, happily devouring a sundae, while James watched her as if she might vanish if he blinked. You have chocolate on your nose, James said gently, reaching for a napkin. The action was so instinctively fatherly, so natural, that it made my heart ache. Luna giggled as he wiped her face, and for a brief moment, they resembled any other father and daughter. My phone buzzed. Sarah was checking in. I texted her about the interview, and she responded with a barrage of panicked emojis. Before I could reply, another message popped up from Emma Shaw. Heard your daughter excelled in her interview. She looks just like her father, doesn't she? My hands trembled. How did she know? Then it hit me. The assistant who had led Luna to the conference room. Of course, Emma still had informants in James's company. Mommy, Mr. Reynolds knows all about composition and light. Luna's excited voice pulled me back. Just like you taught me. Can he come see my studio sometime? James's gaze snapped to mine, sharp with realization. You have a studio, the biggest room in our house, Luna proclaimed proudly. Mommy says artists need space to grow their dreams. Luna, sweetheart, finish your ice cream. We need to go soon, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But James wasn't letting the topic drop. A studio, art lessons, a gift for color theory. His voice hardened. You knew she'd inherit the artistic talent. You knew, and you still kept her from me. Kept her from you. I laughed bitterly. You walked away, James, straight into Emma's arms. Remember, because I thought I had no choice. The company was failing. Investors were pulling out, and Emma had the solution, didn't she? Just like she has a solution now, opening a competing gallery to destroy mine. Luna's spoon clattered against her bowl. She looked between us, her smile fading. Mommy, why are you mad? We're not mad, sweetheart, James said quickly. We're just catching up. Hey, why don't you tell me about your favorite painting, the one that means the most to you? Luna brightened. My family tree, but she hesitated, glancing at me. Mommy gets sad when I talk about the dark branch. James's face crumpled. I saw the exact moment the weight of 5 lost years hit him. Every birthday, every first day of school, every midnight fever he'd missed. I think it's time to go. I stood up, but James caught my wrist. Emma's back, he said urgently. She's trying to take everything again, but this time, I know what she's really after. Your money, your reputation. I pulled away. I don't care about your drama with Emma anymore. She's after Luna. James's words froze me in place. The gallery competition is just a smokescreen. She found out about Luna months ago. That's why she came back. She thinks she can use Luna to force a merger. My company, your gallery, all under her control for the sake of family unity. That's insane. Luna isn't a business asset. No, she's not, James agreed, looking at our daughter, who was now attempting to build a tower with empty ice cream cups. She's perfect, and I've already missed so much. My phone buzzed again. Emma had sent a photo of Luna's scholarship portfolio spread across a desk with a handwritten note. Imagine how much better she could be with proper guidance. She's threatening my daughter, I whispered, showing James the message, our daughter. His face darkened. And Emma just made her last mistake. He pulled out his phone, typing rapidly. I'm calling an emergency board meeting. By tomorrow morning, Emma Shaw won't have a single investor left in this city. Just like that, you'll destroy her business to protect Luna. I should have done it 5 years ago. He met my gaze. I should have chosen you. Luna tugged at my sleeve. Mommy, I'm sleepy. Can we go home? Of course, baby. I gathered our things, but James wasn't finished. Let me help. He pleaded, not just with Emma, with everything. I want to know Luna. I want to be her father. You can't just walk into her life. Please. His voice broke. I'll do it however you want. Supervised visits, scheduled times. I'll earn back trust from both of you. Just please don't make me miss any more. Luna had dozed off against my shoulder, her face peaceful. She looked so much like James when she slept. The same slight furrow between her brows, the same way her eyelashes fluttered. Tomorrow. I said finally, come to the gallery tomorrow. James, are we going to discuss how to break this to her? But remember, James, I met his gaze firmly. If you ever hurt her, or let Emma near her, I won't stand for it. He rose, his hand almost reaching out as if to stroke Luna's hair, but he held back. I've already lost too much time. I'm not about to squander this second chance. As we left the ice cream shop, Luna clung to me. Mommy, will Mr. Reynolds come to our studio, perhaps? Sweetheart, would you like that? She nodded into my neck. He seems familiar, like from my dreams. I noticed James catch his breath sharply behind us. What dreams, baby? The ones where a tall man watches me paint. He doesn't speak, he just smiles, like Mr. Reynolds did today. James let out a choked noise. Like a punch to the gut. I didn't turn around, but I heard him murmur, sweet dreams, Luna, as we walked away. Later that night, after tucking Luna into bed, I discovered her family tree painting on my desk. She had added a new branch, bright, hopeful green, reaching out as if to connect with another branch. My phone lit up. It was a message from James. Thank you for today, for letting me meet her, for raising her to be so wonderfully unique. I know I don't deserve this, but I'd love to help her add more branches to that family tree. Looking at Luna's painting, the gaps between the branches filling with potential. I knew tomorrow would bring difficult conversations and even tougher decisions. Emma would undoubtedly push back, Luna would have questions, and James would need to prove he deserved the title of father. But for tonight, as I watched my daughter sleep under the glow-in-the-dark stars that James's mother had once painted for him, stars that Luna had unknowingly recreated in her room, I allowed myself to hope. Sometimes the most profound art is born from mending what was broken and filling voids with fresh hues. Perhaps Luna had understood this all along. A year later, Luna's art had not only filled the walls of our gallery but also brought unexpected joy into our lives. Her first solo show, Family Branches, attracted critics and collectors nationwide, but more importantly, it celebrated a year of healing and rebuilding trust. Daddy, you're hanging it crooked. Luna called out from below as James adjusted her centerpiece, an expanded version of her family tree now teeming with vibrant new branches and intertwined stories. Artists are quite demanding, James teased, pride evident in his eyes. He had earned the right to call her his daughter, one small moment at a time. From supervised visits at the studio to weekend art classes and eventually, candid discussions about his prolonged absence, Emma had played dirty, leaking scandalous stories to the press. But James was ready. The evidence he had collected about her past misdeeds had driven her to flee the country, her dreams of a takeover dashed. The lighting needs to be warmer, I called across the gallery. It's washing out the golden branches, the ones that symbolize Aunt Sarah's stress baking. James adjusted the spotlights just as Sarah herself burst through the door, laden with treats for the opening. And I've brought reinforcements. Behind her, James's parents entered, bearing more supplies. They had initially struggled with the revelation of Luna's existence. upset with both James and me for the separation years. Yet, Luna's artistic gift, so reminiscent of her grandmother's, had bridged even that gap. My star, James's mother, embraced Luna. Eager to document her granddaughter's work for the family album, Luna led her around the gallery, each painting narrated with the poise of a seasoned artist. Beside me, James whispered, "Thank you for allowing me to be part of this. You've earned it," I replied sincerely. He had diligently worked to prove his commitment, immersing himself in every aspect of Luna's world. "The gallery's thriving, too," he noted, eyes on the sold tags dotting several pieces. "Though I hear the owner is quite selective about the artists she represents," I smiled, reflecting on our joint venture. A foundation to support young, underprivileged artists, only the honest ones, the ones true to their vision, like mother, like daughter. James's hand found mine, a comforting gesture we'd grown accustomed to through months of co-parenting. "Speaking of honesty, there's something I need to ask you," he began, but Luna's voice cut through. "Mommy, Daddy, come see what Grandma taught me." We found her adding the final touches to a new painting, a family portrait unlike any traditional depiction. Instead of conventional figures, she portrayed us as intertwined trees, my branches sheltering her early years, James's roots growing stronger as they reached towards us, and her own shoots bursting forth, filled with promise. "It's for the empty wall at home," she explained, "between Mommy's room and Daddy's guest room, so we can all be together. Even when Daddy's not here." James squeezed my hand. "About that empty wall. What if it wasn't empty anymore? What if none of our walls were?" I turned to him, realization dawning. "James, I'm not asking because of Luna, though she's the best reason, but because this past year has shown me what real love is. It looks like you, strong enough to raise our daughter alone, brave enough to let me back in, and talented enough to turn pain into beauty." Luna, unable to contain her excitement, urged, "Open it, Mommy." I helped pick it out. Inside the box was a ring unlike any other, an engagement ring not with a traditional diamond but a miniature painting under glass, an extension of Luna's first family tree, its branches reaching beyond the frame. "The painting continues on the band," James explained, "because our story isn't finished yet. There are more branches yet to grow, more colors to add, if you'll let me help," Luna said hopefully, her eyes wide with excitement. "We could be together all the time," she added, "no more switching between houses. Daddy even said I could paint a mural in the new studio he's building." I looked at them, my daughter and her father, their expressions filled with hope, then at Sarah, who was trying to hide her tears while capturing the moment on her phone, and at James's parents, who had become the loving grandparents Luna deserved. My eyes then drifted over the gallery walls, which narrated our journey from broken pieces to a collective masterpiece. "Yes," I whispered, and then louder, "Yes." Luna cheered as James slid the ring onto my finger. "Now we can sign my paintings with both of your last names." "Actually," James said, pulling me close, "I was thinking we could all share one name. The name of the strongest artist I know." Sarah's phone clattered to the floor in her surprise. "Did James Reynolds just offer to take your last name?" "Reynolds Shaw Investments was tainted by Emma anyway." James shrugged. "It's time for a fresh canvas. Besides, everyone already recognizes the gallery as your creation." Later that night, after celebration pastries and countless hugs, Luna sat between us in her studio. She pulled out her largest blank canvas yet. "What are you planning, sweetheart?" I asked. "Our next chapter," she declared, a serious note in her young voice. "But I need help choosing the colors. Why don't we all choose?" James suggested. "Each person can add their own shade to the family palette." Luna's face lit up. "Perfect. I had this idea. What if we turned the whole house into art? Every wall could tell our story." I exchanged a glance with James, my joy mirrored in his eyes. "Sounds like we better stock up on paint, and lots of top," he added, chuckling. Luna was already sketching, her small hands sure and steady. On her desk sat the scholarship interview portfolio that had changed everything. A reminder that sometimes the best masterpieces arise from our biggest challenges. "Can we start tomorrow?" she asked sleepily. "We've already started," I replied, watching her add 3 intertwined figures to her sketch. "Every day is a new brushstroke." James kissed my temple. "This time, We're all holding the brush together. Luna yawned, curling up between us as if she had always belonged there. In a way, she had. She was our masterpiece. Not the one we'd planned, but the one that had painted us into something better than we could have imagined alone. Outside, stars twinkled like drops of silver paint on the night's canvas, while inside, our small family added another beautiful layer to our ever-growing story. Not perfect, but perfectly ours. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to share your opinions. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.